Firstly, Adam was made to be the image bearer, obviously, but he was made to be the will of God, the power of God manifest on the earth. Think about it. Adam, be fruitful, multiply, name, and tend the garden. When God made Adam, he spoke the sea creature. He spoke the fowls of the air. He spoke from a distance the beasts of the field, but yet he shaped Adam. He shaped Adam. And he breathed into Adam. And he gave Adam dominion. And notice that God, from that point on, he never speaks in ocean's form anymore. He never speaks and creates by himself anymore, because he joined himself to Adam, made a covenant with Adam. And it falls on with every generation of Adams. Notice that. Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. I'm going to make a nation, but I'm not going to make it without an Adam. Abraham, come out from among them. Follow me. I'm going to deliver a nation. I'm going to do it by myself. Moses, deliver a nation with me. There's the Adam. Notice how this happens time and time and time again. Even when God sought to redeem humanity, he didn't do it without an Adam, for he played the role of God and prophet, robed himself in the flesh, and became what? The second Adam, scripture says. I'm going to free everybody and make Eden again. I'm going to make the tree of life again on the cross. I'm going to be all those things, but I'm going to have an Adam. And he came as a man. He made a covenant to mankind, be fruitful and multiply. I'm going to restart everything. Noah, I need an Adam. The problem is that sometimes Adam isn't confident in what he's called to be. And most time it's not that he doubts the word. He just becomes weak in his fervor for it. And it affects those around him. What was Eve called to be, though? We'll come back to Adam's issues. What was Eve called to be? Well, very quickly, God's nature is personified. His characteristics are personified throughout Scripture. But one is the most personified, if you will. And one of them is so personified that Solomon lets wisdom speak in first person. And it is the only characteristic of God that is personified as a female or a she. Not because God is revealing to you the fourth person of the Godhead, who's a nice lady. He's trying to teach you something deep about why he made Adam and Eve. Solomon in Proverbs teaches about his sons pursuing a godly woman, and he personifies a godly woman as the embodiment of God's wisdom, because she calls out and beckons you. And he speaks about sin as an ungodly woman. So as he's shaping Adams, he's defining the Eves. And in Proverbs chapter 8, something very peculiar happens. Solomon lets wisdom speak in first person, and she says, "For I was there with him in the beginning as he created. I worked hand in hand. I was his delight. I helped him. I was a co-craftsman with him." And you're like, wait a second. That sounds a whole lot like Adam and Eve. If you change out the name God for Adam and you change out the name wisdom for Eve, it's a perfect pattern. For I was with Adam when he named it in the garden, and I helped and I completed, and we bore each other's burdens, and I was a co-workman with him, and I was his delight. It begins to reshape your idea of what the word helpmeet, or the idea of Eve's purpose to become one flesh. God made Adam in his image, but yet Adam is not good that Adam's alone. Something's missing. How can he be in God's image but be missing? Because he made Eve to be wisdom, and they became one flesh, and now they represent God's image in its complete totality. He says, Adam, be power, be the word, but I also created through wisdom.